Hello, wonderful Gemini, and welcome to the team. Can you believe we're here already? This is Gwendolyn. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. This video is going to be a monthly Terrascope for teen for Gemini. And as I shuffle here, I'll just talk a little bit about the new moon and full moon and eclipses we have this month. At the opening of February, we have a partial solar eclipse that coincides with the new moon in Capricorn. And again, that's January 5th. It's at 8 p.m. Pacific time or 8 Eastern time for those who are in the United States. And new moons are a great time to begin things that are new. We just had Mars go into Aries, which is a breaking through, very active placement of Mars. It really activates the forward movement and forward motion of Mars energy. Mars has been in Pisces, which is detriment. And just on January 1st, Mars moved into Aries, which is all about like green light go, forward movement, action. So this new moon in Capricorn is also about beginning new things, starting things. Because it's a partial solar eclipse, it might illuminate some shadow aspects that we haven't seen before. It might be something that you can start anew, start fresh on, in terms of letting something go that was challenging for you, Gemini. Something that, like maybe an addiction. It's sort of like starting new healthy patterns and habits, because you can see during a partial solar eclipse, you can see the shadow aspects. You can see, oh, I have been eating in a certain way that maybe hasn't been healthy, or these particular relationships have been toxic or not good for me, or these habits, whatever it might be. So it's a good time to set in place new healthy habits, new directions, new dreams, new intentions. And then on February 20th, we have a full moon, which is also a total lunar eclipse at 0 degrees Leo. So for you, Gemini, this is in your, that is in your third house of friendships, your third house of community, of siblings, things that, of communication. The third house is your natural placement, Gemini. So it rules all things that have to do with communication, writing. Actually, it's funny, the Lovers was trying to jump out just as I'm talking about this. But it might have to do with communication, letting go, as full moons represent letting go of things. And I'm going to say it's especially related to emotions, because the moon represents emotions. So letting go of any maybe overly emotional way of communicating, potentially. I mean, you can translate it as it relates to you, Gemini, but third house, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and which is all about communication. And then the moon represents emotions, and the full moon is about letting things go. And with eclipse, it being a total lunar eclipse at a very powerful, potent degree, 0 is always a very amplified degree of Leo or of any sign. It's saying that you have the opportunity to let go and release any sort of shadow emotions as it corresponds to your communication. So you can translate that however that makes sense for you. Like, for example, say if you, I'm thinking about it being in Leo. If you have a tendency to, say, dominate a conversation, Gemini, comes to your loved ones, or I'm not sure how it's going to translate for each one of you, but that's your opportunity to release anything that feels like it's emotional baggage, especially as it relates to heavy emotions. I just no longer, I feel like they're old and left over from last year when we had all that retrograde stuff. So this is going to be a powerful time to let go of some things related to your third house of communication, especially as it relates to your emotions. So let's see what comes up in the cards for you. We're opening up with 3 of Cups. This is celebratory time. This is like the festive feeling of a new year. This is reuniting with friends and family, surrounding yourself with people who support and love you. So 3 of Cups is just celebration time. Sometimes it can be a reuniting time too. Occasionally when this comes in the reverse, it can be third party energy, but I'm not getting that from this card at all. I'm just getting that it's like growth and festivity and celebration and sort of being really happy at the opening and the start of this new year, Gemini. So that's wonderful energy for you to be coming in with. Then we also have the King of Cups in reverse. This could be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, who's not showing up in their usual, emotionally reliable way. It could be that if you're a male, that you're not feeling like your fatherly duties are at the forefront. You're kind of more interested in maybe spending time with friends, or that for whatever reason, King of Cups is in the reverse energy. It may be that you are not focused on your relationship right now. You're more interested in just kind of letting go and having a good time. Or if you're dealing with a water sign person, again, this could just be them not showing up in their normal, reliable way. Normally, King of Cups is like the perfect partner, the perfect husband, um, the the person who's compassionate and nurturing and loving and considerate of other people's feelings. He, in the reverse position, he can be a little bit weepy or overly emotional. And I'm also getting the sense too, Gemini, just be careful of this. With King of Cups in reverse and Three of Cups, there could be a tendency towards overconsumption of alcohol. So just be careful of that. This is like saying let the good times roll, but King of Cups is the guy who the next morning has had too much. So just be aware of that, Gemini, especially if you're dealing with a water sign. And then we have Strength in reverse. So there's a way in which at the beginning of you may not be feeling like at the height of your powers. For some of you, this could be a Leo who's not showing up in the way that they normally present themselves as like courageous and strong and bold. But strength in the reverse, I'm mostly reading as you, Gemini, and this is sort of like your strength being at. Maybe you're not being as confident or as bold or as patient as you normally are, or as you're capable of being. There's some way in which your strength is being taxed, and it might have to do with this King of Cups person. There's someone around you who's drinking a lot. That could be why your strength is being depleted. I'm almost getting like the Samson and Delilah story here, where Delilah cuts Samson's hair and it saps his strength. There's something that's taxing you about Cups energy, whether it's your heart energy or emotional energy, or someone drinking or doing something to excess. That may be affecting you in a strong way, Gemini, as, yeah, Seven of Swords. Interesting. There's someone around you who is behaving badly. This is Seven of Swords, which is the thief, person who cuts corners, the person who is acting shady, who is not following the rules, who is like saying they want to get theirs at any cost. So whoever that is right now, Gemini, whether that's you or someone else, it's tapping your strength or sapping your strength, depleting you a little bit. There's someone who is maybe trying to skirt their responsibilities a little bit, and they're trying to get away with something. Just have your eyes open to that, because it really could just deplete you here at the beginning of a little bit. It's taking you down, putting like an overcast sky for you. It could be a Leo, or a water sign. This is you, Gemini, King of Swords, whether you're male or female. This is having good judgment, using your intellect, being logical, analytical, using the wisdom of your own experience. And this is someone who's an expert. So for some of you, this may be you, or it might be a lawyer, it might be a counselor, a guide, a father figure, a parental, someone who is a sage. Who makes good decisions. But because you're an air sign and this is showing up in your reading, Gemini, I'm reading this as you. And so it's saying you're at the height of your thinking powers. You're showing up as the expert right now, the person who is the master of their own thoughts. So even if your emotion be out of whack in any way, or if there's someone in your environment that is causing you to feel unsteady, you're very sharp, you're very keen, you're hard to fool. This person, whoever this might be, the Seven of Swords, this sort of thief card, can't get away with anything in front of you, or they can't fool you very easily, because you're very clear and keen, and you have good logic, good analysis. You're able to see right through to the heart of the matter. That's King of Swords energy that I'm getting for you, Gemini. Let's see what else is coming up for you in marriage. I've got the Queen of Swords in reverse. So this might be your counterpart if you're in a relationship. Your partner might be, you might be going head to head with your partner right now, or there might be some arguments happening because swords represent words, ideas, thoughts, beliefs. So there might be some way in which you're just having like a difference of opinion. You know, maybe it could be arguments, maybe it could just be not seeing eye to eye, wanting different plans, wanting different things, thinking a different way, approaching something differently. Or this could just be another air sign that you are not seeing eye to eye with right now. So it could be another Gemini or a Libra or an Aquarius. You're not, they're an equal to you, but you're seeing things from very opposite points of view right now, Gemini. Let's see what else is coming in. We've got Seven of Staves. So this means you're tired of fighting for something. You're tired of having to defend your space. Seven of Staves or of Wands in the upright means, you know, being in an advantageous position, fighting your battles, being in sort of a defensive position, defending your territory, standing up for what you believe in. It's saying to me that you might be backing down just for the sake of preserving the peace, or that you're tired of fighting, you're tired of having to defend yourself. Potentially from this air sign person. Hierophant, yeah, this is saying there might be some troubles in the marriage right now if you're married. Hierophant in reverse says there's two people here who are equals. These are the twins, but they're not learning the spiritual lesson, or they're not being the highest version of themselves. They're not in harmony is probably the best way to put it. They're out of harmony. They're out of favor. Sometimes Hierophant in reverse means troubles in a marriage or divorce. So some of you may be going through that where you're in a good space, but you're tired of having to fight with your partner. If for those of you who are in a partnership. For those of you who are not, there might be some higher lesson, some spiritual lesson that you're having a hard time seeing, or you're not feeling like you want to conform to things in a certain way that's conventional or traditional. You kind of feel maybe tired of having to fight for your own space as the unique individual that you are. But you are in a place, in Gemini, a place of expertise, a place of authority, a place of speaking your truth. So continue with that. Whatever your position is, I would say hold your position. And if there's someone, like I said, again, who's acting in a way that's draining you of your strength, that is like sort of testing your patience, they really can't get away with anything in front of you, Gemini. You know what's going on. Then I also see the Emperor. Yeah, I'm reading, this could be an Aries in your environment, but I'm also reading this as you. Being in control, having authority, wanting things to be clear and in order, and according to certain regulated laws or rules or boundaries. The Emperor is really clear on where the boundaries are. And this could be again another father figure or a counselor or a landlord or a boss. Again, potentially a Aries, but I'm also reading this as you, Gemini, whether male or female. And I'm just seeing you really coming into your own authority, especially as that full moon in Leo happens and you're releasing things. Emperor is a major arcana card. I'm actually also getting the sense that as you release the need to conform to traditional things and other people's rules, you're kind of saying, you know what, I'm going to follow my own rules. I'm letting go of things that don't serve me, especially emotionally. I don't like all this argumentativeness. I don't like having to be the one who's watching out for others who are trying to cut corners or serving their own self and needs. I want to be able to be lighthearted. I want to know that the people around me have back, that I can trust those around me, that others, you know, friends and family are supportive of me. These are the kind of people I want to surround myself with, you know, people who are in a positive, uplifting, celebratory light. I want people who are going to take me higher. So I'm really getting you in a place where you're cutting out things that aren't serving you. You're tired of having to defend your space, Gemini, and you really, by the end of the month, are sitting on this throne of authority and saying, you know, here's the rules, here's the boundaries, don't dare cross them. You know, I know what to do with this sword. He's not actually holding one in this card, but in the decks, Emperor holds the sword of the truth, just like King of Swords, which again, I'm reading as you, Gemini. So You might be cutting some things out right around that full moon in Leo. It may have to do with some friends. If there are any friends of yours who are acting like this, they're not going to be able to remain. Or if there's people who are sort of your counterpart, this also could be a business partner. This person, you're not going to partner with them for very long if there's this dynamic going on, because you're really coming into your strength. If it's challenged here at the beginning of the month, Gemini, you are in your full strength by the end of the month. And then Knight of Coins, this is the kind of person that you want to employ, to surround yourself with. Knight of Coins is someone who is another king. Usually this is an earth sign person, so it could be a Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, but it's someone who knows how to get results. They're patient, they make good decisions, they're good at investing in things, whether it's in people or with money or with ideas, or they're very good at making things flourish. This is the CEO card. It's someone who is the head of a business. So I'm seeing that you might partner with someone that you don't argue with. You see eye to eye with this person, even though they're another king. And again, this could go male or female. But there may be a way that you're cutting out someone that you don't see eye to eye with, who is an equal, and you're instead saying, I'm following my own rules. You're partnering with someone who's going to give you better results. That's actually what I'm seeing, is that you're not going to have to bend your space anymore. A partnership is breaking apart, whether that is a business partnership, a friendship, a love relationship, or a marriage. There's something that's breaking apart here, and you're coming into your own power, and you're choosing different people to partner with. Yeah, 8 of Staves, there's going to be a lot of communication towards the end of the month, and things can happen really quickly, really rapidly when this happens. This card represents Mercury in Sagittarius, which is very fast energy. So I get the sense that after this full moon in Leo, things happen very rapidly, especially as you partner with this earth sign person, or this person who has the archetype of King of Coins energy. He's like a mover and a shaker. He's going to make things happen, even though this is usually slow energy because of his decision making. And again, it could be her. I'm just reading it as his because there's a male in the card. But I'm getting the sense that you put your trust in this person who's really good at making decisions, and they take things forward rapidly. So again, whether this is in a personal relationship, business, whether it's a love relationship, whether it is just like a creative project somehow, and whether they're an employee of yours or someone that you're working with in some ways, you are getting lots of fast results from this person who makes good decisions by standing in your own power. So I'm seeing it as being a choice of who you're partnering with this month. Anyways. And then 5 of Cups, you're going to be coming out of a period of any sort of depression or grief or emotional sadness. You're going to be focusing on the love that is there. This is usually a card of regret or sorrow, but because those 2 cups are there in the center and that's what he's focused on, and because it's in reverse, I'm seeing you coming out of any sort of funk that you might have been in. I'm also reading that with this King of Cups in reverse, whatever this emotional instability might have been, it might be someone giving up alcohol. Or it's someone coming out of any sort of emotional frustration. And I get the sense that that is because you're achieving these results from making good choices about who you interact with, Gemini. So that's a reading for you for February for 19. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up or share it with another Gemini. And if you'd ever like to book a personal reading with me, I'll have a link right up around here that you can do that, but you can go to my website that way. And I'm interested in getting your feedback too, Gemini. I know I've recently done some readings with me on camera. I wanted to see if you liked that or if you prefer seeing cards. I used to do a lot of new moon and full moon videos, and I'd like to know if people would like to see more of those, or any sort of format, the pick a card readings or love readings. I'm just opening it up to stars to get feedback because I want to tailor this channel to what you want. So please feel free to tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of. And I hope you have a wonderful start to teen. I'll look forward to doing another reading for you. Thanks as always for watching. Yours in the stars.